You know what? You'd think I'd learn. This is the third or fourth morning I've had to scrape the truck, and today's not too bad actually. It's just kind of mushy frost, but it's enough to where the windshield wipers won't take it off. But anyway, so I've got to figure out some kind of blanket or something to put on it so that I don't have to scrape, because I think scraping is one of my least favorite things in the whole world to do. Or I could just put the truck in the garage, and that would mean I'd had to clean it out. No, I was getting something to cover the windshield. So, anyway, that's kind of our adventure so far this morning, but I wanted to ask if anybody had any bright ideas about the whole windshield situation, and to see if they had any suggestions for, you know, not having to scrape every morning. Here's another thing I hate doing, is filling up my tires in the cold. I don't know if you can see it, but I fill up my tire because there's a tiny nail right there. It's been there for a few weeks, so I'm having to fill up every morning. Almost. Okay, I started writing this down yesterday and decided it was just taking way too long, and my computer froze in the middle of my post, so I'll just do it like this instead. So we are watching the debates yesterday, Lori and I, and is it just me, or I just, after watching these Barack Obama and John McCain talk to each other and address issues and blame each other, I feel like there was a lot more talking about what each other's plans were for the country instead of talking about their own, how it's going to happen. Maybe I'm just a little bit older now and a little more cynical or something, but I just feel like politics and advertising have so much in common, where, you know, both of them are trying to make the sale basically at the end of the day, and they'll say whatever it takes within reason to make the sale. So I don't believe either one of them. Having said that, I don't believe Barack Obama more, because his concepts and stuff I think are a pipe dream. What he thinks are going to happen, the way he thinks things are going to happen. But I'm not here to talk about politics as much as what we thought about after the debate, what Lori and I were talking about. Because they were talking about the economy and teachers, and then Lori was reading one of her parenting magazines that we've got, because now we are parents, of course. And they was talking about how, well, that's right, the magazine was talking about what they thought was required for a president, what they would want to see. And of course, it was education and healthcare and all this stuff. But speaking of healthcare, we can talk about healthcare all night long about it. Anybody who's lived in England or anything like that will know exactly what kind of a national health system is going to ruin the whole world for us. Anyway, we don't want to talk about that. So anyway, so the magazine was talking about how NBA basketball stars, the average salary for an NBA basketball player is like $5 million, which I think is totally insane. And teachers make, what, 50 grand a year almost? And the balance is just totally out of whack. And Lori said, now why is it that basketball players make this much and teachers don't? And I was thinking about it, and it's like, well, you know, it's probably all about advertising. You know, all the sponsors and people who are getting exposure from the sporting events. And I thought about it more, it's like, well, you know, when's the last time you paid $30 a ticket to go to a lecture on photosynthesis? And you can't really buy a hot dog and a beer at your kid's band concert, can you? So there's lots of factors that go into it, but it's just, you can see where the priorities lie in a lot of ways when it comes to, well, I don't want to say that. It's not like our priorities are screwed up, because it's really about, you know, making the money that you can with a sporting event, because there's so much opportunity for other, you know, secondary sales and sponsorship things and products and all kinds of this. There's a huge world that just revolves around the one game. And now I was kind of thinking, well, could there be some kind of model we could apply to some kind of educational system that's getting close to that? You know, why does a basketball player get paid $5 million? Well, he can sink a basket into the hole. You know, he can just shoot from far away. People who don't make shots don't get hired, don't get traded, don't get you know, bought. So, you know, do our teachers, is there some kind of like motivation that we can use to say, you know, I've met some really good teachers that I think should get paid, you know, tons more than what they are right now. I've also met some teachers who should be fired on the spot. But, you know, is that because, I wonder if that's because, you know, did that teacher that is all burnt out, did they start out all inspired, wanting to change the world and ready to do some good, and then through years of being overstretched and, you know, harassed by parents who want their kid to be taught by, you know, everything to be taught by the schools, you know, morals and everything, you know, is that teacher just been beaten down, so now they have no energy left? Anyway, so just, yeah, kind of throwing it out there just for fun. I was trying to think, what other things could we do maybe to in a private school setting that could make it so that, you know, teachers could A, make more, and B, they would be more higher caliber of instructors, so the children can get a better education. It's hard to judge, you know, pay a teacher off of a student's results, except for the fact, you know, maybe if there's a high enough salary, that would be motivation enough. And we were also, Laura and I were talking about, maybe like you could have a private school totally, you know, sponsored by Bic. All the utensils are all Bic, you know, and then and there's a lot of controversy or a lot of discussion about having commercial sponsorships or commercial advertising in a school. You know, we have Coca-Cola vending machines and everything in there. Why can't we have, you know, other things that are considered to be in the educational realm, or even not be sponsorship type thing? I guess that would also, you have to regulate things like that. It gets to be, I'm sure, a big mess when it comes to the, you know, organizing and regulating and things. But, you know, it's kind of an interesting thought, because people, I just think it's so funny that as a nation, as a world even, you know, people who instruct our future and those who are so important that are going to come after us are kind of taken for granted. And the people that, you know, okay, could you ever imagine having, you know, the teacher who makes $5 million walking around with the diamonds in his teeth and chains around his neck and talking like an idiot? I don't know. I don't think so. So it's an interesting thing that we've done in our culture to kind of idolize those who seem to do the least in respect to intellectual and you know, contributing to society, if you will. Not to say that, you know, a sports thing is totally unneeded, or that, you know, that they're all idiots, because they're definitely not. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the college sports arena. Pro, not so much. Doesn't really bother with any of the pro sports, but I love watching college football, college basketball. And it used to be, I thought that it's because they were all doing it for the love of the game. Although, you know, I have learned a little bit that there's a lot of, I don't want to say money being changed, but, you know, full ride scholarships and opportunities to, of course, go pro, which I'm sure is a motivator. But overall, I think that student athletes, because, you know, they're held to a higher standard when it comes to qualifying for what they're doing, they have to be holding a degree as well as, you know, playing their sport. Anyway, this has been way longer than I wanted it to be, but I just thought it was kind of an interesting thought. You know, could we have a school that's totally a commercial industry, commercial sponsored place that, you know, it's all about kind of the free market competition that would make it so that, you know, that pushes quality out in the world. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you think I'm an idiot now for watching this and talking about all this stuff, then don't watch my stuff anymore. But otherwise, have a good morning.